Dear members and dear colleagues, the whole team, the whole WAPES team, and our partners at the OECD and the DG Reform join me in welcoming you and thanking you for your loyalty for this series, which launched now in January. Before giving the floor to our guest, few technical tips. We will give the floor in turn to our guest. During these speeches, I would ask you please to close your microphones, and you will turn on them again when you take the floor during the discussion. Today, we will have two presentations. The first on the experience of the Spanish Public Employment Services SEPE with Mr. Federico Muñiz Alonso, and the second in two voices from France Travail, the French Public Employment Services, with Mrs. Lydie HABIRE-Vergnières and Mr. Gaël Thomé. I suggest that you let the two presentations finish before moving on the discussions. But to avoid losing tracks of your question, you can write them down as you go along using all the Q&A section in the menu bar. I think it's in the eye of your screen on the left, or the chat room, as you want. I will share just to present if it's work. Can you see my screen? Okay.
Yes.
Perfect. Perfect. So it's just to have a global vision about our series. The kickoff meeting was on January. And it was really a global presentation about the PES reforms and the support by DG Reform and the OECD, our partners. And the episode 1 was about the evolution of the profession of job counselor and its place in the organization, and with as speaker Julian Help from the Australian AMS Public Employment Services. And the episode 2 was about digitalization of services, remote and work format in April, in the beginning of this month. Today, we are on the topic of internal transformation processes within PES and the role of the impact evaluation with our two guests. And for the next, we have two next episodes. The next one would be about the cooperation with external providers and the provision of employment services. And at the end, the episode 5, the role of PES in responding to the global mega trends, economic restructuring, skills shortage, prevention of unemployment, and so on. So for these two, I will ask if some other public employment services want to share with you, with us, all their experience about this topic. They are welcome. So now I will give the floor to Mr. Federico Muñiz Alonso, Deputy Director of Statistics and Information at the Spanish Public Employment Services, SEPE. And Mr. Federico, the floor is yours.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much for this very nice opportunity. We try always to work under the scheme of no one is as clever as all together. And these events are always a very nice occasion to share this information. Okay, a quick view about what the national employment system is in Spain. As you know, Spain lives under a decentralized scheme, not only for employment, but also for education, also for health, and so on. Spain is divided into 17 autonomous regions. As you can see in the image, in the map on the left part of the slide, we have one public employment service, one PES per region. These PES are responsible.
Just Mr. Federico, you have to share your presentation. We don't see.
No están viendo la presentación.
Yes.
Sorry, I was
no.
Gonna touch.
We have the presentation here, but you cannot see.
Yes, we were presenting our decentralized scheme. We were explaining that Spain is divided into 17 autonomous regions, and that we have one PES per region. This PES is responsible for active labor market policies, for guidance, for individual action plans,
perfect,
training, and so on. It's okay now? Yeah, have you?
It's okay. Okay, yes, we see the map.
Okay, these 17 autonomous regions with one PES per region are working in active labor market policies together under the coordination of national PES, SEPE, on the right side of your screen. SEPE, the national PES, is responsible for coordination, for statistics, and also to develop laws, decrees, and rules to establish the general framework where the regional PES are working. Our main target, we are responsible. National PES is responsible for unemployment benefits, including management and also the payment of these benefits. The question of volume, we have more than 700 employment offices spread in all the regions and all the provinces. Each office is a kind of one-stop point for active labor market policies and services and unemployment benefits. We have a stock more or less of 3 million people receiving services in Spain, more or less 2 million people receiving unemployment benefits, and these 17 regional PES plus SEPE involves the work for about 7,000 people in the case of SEPE and 10,000 people in the case of the set of all the regions. Okay, go on with our reforms. As you know, the European Union provided next generation funds to support the member states to overcome the pandemic with recovery plans. Spain established its recovery plan, is the most ambitious one in Europe. Is the highest number of measures and initiatives are included in this plan. Is a real challenge to develop. Into this plan, we would like to highlight these three main legal reforms: unemployment law, a new regulation for incentives for hiring, and also a new regulation for unemployment benefits and assistance level. Concerning the first block, the new employment law, the main feature of this new employment law is the warranty of service, to reinforce the law, also to reinforce the role of the local administration under a second level of decentralizations. Sorry, I'm trying to do my best, but to fit this presentation in 10 minutes. Excuse me for my quick speaking. This warranty of services is the central idea of this new employment law. So, as we can see, this employment law will transform SEPE into a new employment agency to be more agile in terms of administration and funding, and is a new status for our national PES. We will put into force also a new employment analysis office to reinforce the studies, perspectives, and so on. It's very important to highlight a more flexibility for regional PES to manage their program with contracts to develop active labor market employment policies. Also, we will establish a new framework for public and private collaboration. This is also a real challenge because we have to have failed 10 years ago in our first attempt. So we are working into a more agile one, which is relevant. Are you seeing the change of the presentation of the slide?
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect.
Concerning to the guaranteed services, the basic idea is you have a right to receive education. If you have a right to receive health care, you also have a right to be supported if you need to improve your employability. Before 2023, these employment services were available, and now you have a right to receive these services. Okay. Sorry, micro is open. Okay. Yes. So this warranty of services is established in a more detailed way with the new Royal Decree for employment common services. We are expecting to put into force this new Royal Decree probably tomorrow, probably in the following weeks. Is a requirement of the European Union to put into force not only the employment law, but also this more detailed decree. This new employment law also includes a more flexible funding that incorporates multi-annual frameworks, which is new in our case. The evaluation is also a very important pillar of this new employment law. Has an entire title, number 6, dedicated to evaluate. We have explained also some small features of the new agency. Agency is already mentioned. Consists of a more agile functioning of our national PES, and the main important thing is that is focused in a goal-oriented philosophy, as we can see here. This presentation is available for you. This goal-oriented philosophy will run under a public contract in relation with our government. Any general things about this new employment law? Okay, and the second block is the new regulation for hiring incentives. These hiring incentives in Spain involve 1.8 billion euros a year, which consists of the 25% of total spending of active employment policies. This reform basically consists of simplifying the framework, improve the information system. This is a very important thing because it requires interoperability within the information system of 17 public employment services, and also the social security IT system. Evaluation is also predicted for this new regulation. This is available for you, and this is the third legal reform which is relevant for us. The simplification and improvement of the level of unemployment protection assistance. The main features are displayed here. Consist of extending the protection and duration of the benefits, simplify the benefits processing system. This is also a challenge in terms of technology. Link benefits to a personalized itinerary, individual action plan, and so on to improve employability and labor market access. Also, supplement protective actions with a monthly benefit compatible with work. This is new, and this is quite relevant for people. You don't have to be afraid to find a job for a fortnight, be quiet, but because you are don't losing your protection in terms of social assistance. Also, it is the case to facilitate the transition to other social protection mechanisms, because when you finish to receive your right to receive even this assistance level, you have also the right to be protected for your state if necessary. Okay, and the final thing, we are launching a very complete and new methodology, ambitious methodology of evaluations. We are evaluating the impact yearly of all the set of the active labor market policies using counterfactual methodology with control groups. The volume, the size of these control groups are 500,000 people per year, more or less. The first results are nice in terms of the effectiveness of this methodology, and also to this the measure of the impact, these positive effects of the public employment services provided to people, which is allowing us to establish a target for the next year to, as a system, improve the employability of the set of population in about 10%, more or less. I think that I'm 1 minute after time.
Yes.
And very much I'm at your disposal for.
Yes, thank you.
Thank
you, Mr. Muñiz Alonso. We will come back to you for the discussion shortly. Now, the floor is for my colleagues from France Travail, who will present us their approach to change. Mr. Thomé.
Thank you, Thierry. Hello again, everybody. I try to share the screen, and we're going to talk with Lydie about our human-centric transformation in France Travail. I hope you see the presentation, and I put it in full screen. Yes, it's coming. So, first of all, we'd like to play with you, if you're okay with that. And as a starter, we'd like to ask you to write down in the conversation thread a word you know in French, the first word that comes to you. So please, if you are okay, and the French can play as well, write on the conversation thread the first word in French that comes to you. Baguette for Lydie. Salut Annette. Chocolatine ou pain au chocolat?
Non, chocolatine.
Welcome in Paris, Nathalie, if you come to Paris. Music for Carl.
Anticonstitutionnellement.
It is the longest word in French.
In French, yes.
Oh, so welcome to Paris this weekend, Nathalie. And enchanté, Sabina. We, from Roger Cohen, thank you very much. It's a way to decontract yourself and to be more connected with you, and you can continue to play. Okay, so let's start with a brief presentation. I am Gaël Thomé. I am member of the Directorate of the Transformation, named Performance Through Trust. We're going to talk about that later. And we are looking for the microphone open. And we continue. So I work with 18 years of experience as counselor manager in local offices and then at the head office. And I'm passionate about human relationship, teamwork, and providing the best possible service to our users. I'm also the happy daddy of a 9-year-old child. I play tennis and football, and I'm really happy being there with you. Lydie.
Well, hello, I'm a business expert at France Travail, head office. As a part of this mission, I am involved in the Academy program. Previously, I was a director of local and medium size agency in Occitanie, donc Toulouse, Chocolatine. But above all, I was responsible for supporting the teams as a regional and national facilitator. I was part of the team in charge of the process of transforming our operating method. And I held this position for 5 years, and I was involved in this transformation process since the beginning.
Thank you, Lydie. Our proposition for today is to make a brief presentation of France Travail, and they go on the main topic, transformation, internal transformation at France Travail. So you may know that Pôle Emploi became France Travail from the 1st January 2024, a change decided by a law called full employment, and the name of the law is also the new ambitious objectives that is given to us. We are the public operator of reference for the employment market in France, 2 big missions guaranteeing compensation and support for all job seekers and meeting the recruitment needs of all companies. To achieve this new objective, we will have to cooperate more deeply with all those actors in employment, integration, and training, and we can count on our network of 900 local agencies and about 58,000 employees and more with our new colleagues, other actors in employment. You will have this presentation after the meeting, so you can read some precisions about our missions. One of them is creating the condition for strengthened cooperation between all actors, and our experience of our internal transformation will help for making cooperation. Some key figures of last year's activity. We can see the digital services that are well used from our users with big visits to Pôle Emploi, a little less than 500 million, and still visit in local offices. Our international activities, with one of them that is the sense of our presence with you, sharing knowledge between public employment services around the world. So let's go to the main topic, internal transformation of France Travail. It all starts with a belief, a strong belief, and a story. Our belief is that operating on the basis of trust and cooperation, developing autonomy, responsibility, and initiative generates sustainable performance and enables us to better meet the needs of France Travail, users, and employees. That is our belief. Our goal is to develop new ways of operating and managing, increase individual and collective empowerment and commitment, facing new challenges of society change, and sustainably improve our performance. But I'm gonna let ladies tell us what kind of transformation we're talking about.
Yes, first of all, I need to clarify what is meant by transformation. Transformation can involve different aspects of an organization, its structure, its culture, its missions, its operating method, and so and so. And it is possible to consider that Pôle Emploi has always been in state of continuous transformation of the years. The focus of our discussion today is on transforming the way the organization operates. The aim has been to introduce more collaboration, more empowerment, more subsidiarity, more creativity, less control, more commitment, more focus on users' needs. This has resulted, for example, in the elimination of resource indicators in favor of results indicators solely, or the emergence of labs to question user, or again, consultation with all employees on the implementation of the strategic action plan, or again, collaborative work on the agency based on design thinking. And it is in this ecosystem of transforming operating method that we wish emergents to experiment with a liberated approach to organization, we started with the new bet on the trust, un nouveau pari de la confiance, and in the second time, we implement performance through trust, performance par la confiance, and still today. And Gaël, tell us the story, please.
Thank you, Lydie. Yes, it starts with a story in 2017. 20 voluntary agencies, the called laboratory agencies, are volunteer to reinterrogate their way of operating, and we will have 4 ingredients, 4 conditions of success that you can read on the slide, and one of them was using the facilitation and being helped by a facilitator, Lydie.
Yes, because one of the fundamental levels of this transformation was the use of facilitation. At the very beginning, the 20 lab agency were given carte blanche with no instruction, no directives given to the regional directors. In fact, the only request from the national management was to appoint a facilitator to support the teams and be the witness of this transformation. And nobody knew exactly what a facilitator was, their role, their profile. They did not yet exist at Pôle Emploi. The facilitation function, which has still not been integrated into the France Travail reference system, emerged empirically and was shaped through contact with the transformation of the supported teams. Why has the lever been so important? Perhaps because of the introduction of neutral, non-knowing third party. The use of collective intelligence method, or the fact that the facilitator is there to force people to get off their bikes and watch themselves pedaling. Above all, a different posture in a very pyramidal institution with no hierarchy, no quite the same codes, and the introduction of the relationships of equivalence, of being to being.
Thank you, Lydie. And you can see on the slide what is a facilitators versus some other role that you may know, and the qualities of the facilitators. So, which results 9 months later in these local agencies? We have more than 200 operating and management innovation, and more than 50 innovation in service for job seekers and employers. And you can read some of them in the last slides of the presentation. We have also 10 principles issue from the observation of this teams that have liberate their way of operating, and you can see even if it not translate collective intelligence being a focus on the users and the performance, inspiration, share governance, sharing the powers, sharing the vision of what we have to do to accomplish together. This approach has good results like improved quality of life at work, facilitate the emergence of new talents, fewer short-term absences, greater commitment, and improve operational performance. The consequence of this experience is that in 2019, the performance through confidence approach is born. It concerns now the entire establishment. It puts the trust and the human and the staff back at the heart of the organization. Based on the founding principle, it is the doer who knows, c'est celui qui fait qui sait, and it helps to develop the commitment and innovation and performance. It establishes new ways of working, more open, and you have a picture of a local agency on the left, user-centric and collaborative and using facilitation. Where do we stand today? Well, from September 2021, 10 commitments for PPC performance by trust, and a creation of a transformation directorate and a community of 50 regional relays. We increase support for managerial transformation. It is a key point for this transformation. We have these 10 commitments you can read on my back, and we have regular assessments of their implementation up to the agency level via our internal social barometer. Our charge of commitments that engage all the organization, all the colleagues, manager or collaborators. Way and tools for the teams that they appropriate for themselves, by themselves, this proposition to be in more cooperation, more feedback, more efficient. And Lydie, you have the opportunity to implementing transformation in a local agency in south of France.
Yes, thank you, Gaël. After 5 years spent supporting teams in their transformation, I wanted to experience the transformation at the heart of the collective. When I arrived, I observed a dynamic and responsive team, but one that had been used to working under a manager. At the start, our meeting was complicated because I arrived with my ambition to work in a collaborative way, involving everyone at every level, with the main objective being the needs of the users of our services, whether a company or job seeker. I arrived sharing my doubts and weakness, and they weren't used to that either. But because they were asking for productivity and organization. Finally, this experience made me realize that transformation has to be lived and wished at every level. Looking back, I realized that I experienced the allegory of the cave. And in fact, a lack of understanding on my part. Why didn't they want to freedom of expression and action that I was offering them? And then I adapted, and they adapted too. I adapted to their pace, and they trust me. And for some of them agreed to get out their routine. As a result, I was able to make great progress, such as setting up shared management meeting and a shared governance session in which the views of managers and advisors were given equal value. And also the emergence of actions carried out by advisor inspired by an intuition or an observation, such as the creation of the team focusing on jobs linked to sustainable development. In any case, freedom of expression was gradually established. And the best example of this development was when one of the advisors presents the results of a scheme for young people that she was in charge of to the territorial director in the form of letter to Father Christmas. It was close to Christmas, and she was dressed up as an elf. She took the initiative for this form of presentation without discussing with the managers. So she felt free to act in this way without asking permission. What's more, she managed to get a message across the regional director about the difficulties of supporting this group and the contradictions between the system and the reality on the ground. Well, I could other anecdote, but it's I don't have time. What I can say in summary is that transformation cannot be decreed. It must be always accompanied, and it requires the support of everyone, from advisor to high-ranking managers. And people are not resistant to the change. They resist being changed. Thus, to support change, we need to reassure people by showing them things they know and recognizing the uniqueness of others. And that's the challenge of the Réseau pour l'Emploi. It's about encouraging people to want to work together in spirit of cooperation while respecting the individuality of each person and organization or stakeholder. N'est-ce pas, Gaël?
Thank you.
Thank you, Lydie. That's the end for us. And to put it in a nutshell, our approach of transformation aims to empowerment and cooperation as is human-centric. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you. So we have to take some time for question, and I think the first question is for Federico. Jean-Pierre, do you want to ask your question?
Yeah, thank you, Thierry. Federico, I have a question regarding the duration, the extension of the duration of benefits. Could you elaborate more about this change, because it's a very different trend that we are facing in France, because the government has chosen to shorten the duration of benefits. So it's very interesting to hear the Spanish experience on this topic.
Merci, Jean-Pierre. Thank you very much. I'm not an expert on unemployment benefits at all. But this new framework for us, consisting of regulating the assistance level, implies that these subsidies, these assistance level benefits called subsidies, are allowed initially for 6 months. And if you maintain the right of low incomes or the existence of familiar responsibilities or similar, you can renew for periods of 6 months this assistance level. And at the end of the day, if you finally lose your right because you have exhausted this right, you can also ask your regional administration for social salaries. But this is a different framework. The maximum period to receive unemployment benefit after being working is 18 months, a year and a half. And after that, you are allowed to renew this unemployment benefit via subsidy, via assistance level in renewal periods of 6 months.
Okay.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you. We have another question for Mr. Muñiz. Has the National Employment Agency been already created? Is it functioning? What is the main difference between SEPE and the new agency? Thank to you. And it's Lucia Tardani from Italy.
It's not still working. We are preparing the royal decree to. We would like to put into force this royal decree this year, probably in autumn. But okay, it will depend on the parliamentary initiative. Our parliament now is complicated. The scheme requires to elaborate agreements in a very complex way. But we are expecting to put into force the royal decree regulating or creating the agency in autumn. The main difference will be, only for national PES, that our manage of people and funds will be more agile. And after all, this goal-oriented way of working, we will establish a goal or a brief set of goals with our government via contract, and this will be the framework to improve our performance.
Okay. So Mr. Muñiz, you spoke about evaluation as a driver of change. Could you tell us more about it in few words, please?
Yes. In a very quick way. The main idea is to identify the precise effect of public employment services in the improvement of employability. Okay. No matter if the framework is in favor, if the economy is going well or not. We are expecting to help people to find a job, to improve their employability. Much more in a difference under a normal level. Okay, so that's why we are using for the first time under the guidance, having learned so much about OECD. Thank you very much, in particular to Theodora. We are using control groups, identifying the performance of the employability of this control group of 500,000 people, identifying 500,000 people actively participating in active labor policies, and measuring their employability. The difference is the impact, is the evaluation. Sorry.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. And now, one question for Gaël or Lydie. It's about you spoke about PPC, the performance by trust, I think, PPC transformation department. So how is department composed and operates? And also in few words, please.
Yeah, thank you, Thierry. Well, we are around 15 people in our teams, and we have a community in all regions with 2 or 3 people that has their own community of facilitators based on local agencies or in department of France in the territories. And we have something that is special is that we are only 4 people that are permanent on our directorate, and the other people are coming from the local agencies, coming from the regions, like Lydie did when she comes with us for a period of 1 year and a half, and then they go back to their regions and they participate of incarn embodies transformation on their environment.
Okay. So, somebody have other question for our speakers? No. So, I have just one other question, if I can. It's just about how do you concretely support the transformation?
Yes, thank you. Well, we with our community of transformation relays, we are in listening to the needs of the managers of the teams, and we create a specific time with facilitation, with experience to help them to find their own answers and to find their own path for their transformation according to the needs and to their environment. So it's a lot of creativity. It's a lot of games we create sometimes to help them to think by themselves and find their own answers and work on the quality of the relationships inside the teams and with our users to share confidence and make growth, confidence, and success for all.
Okay.
Yes, we meet quarterly, all the regions, in order to establish agreements, operative agreements in terms of functioning and managing. We meet them quarterly. This is the natural framework to promote or to improve, share. innovation. But furthermore, we also organize events of sharing good practices. For instance, if Andalusia is performing well in terms of relation with companies, and Basque Country is performing well in terms of evaluation, or Catalonia is performing well in terms of managing local employment at local level, we have always the opportunity to share these good practices, and this is really an engine to innovate.
That's something we do also, trying to being an organization that learns from its success and from its failure. So that's also thematics we work.
Maybe Thierry, if I can ask a question to Federico. When you talk about the reform of the national PES of the SEPE, but when you are in this process of transformation, does it have also some influence or on the transformation, on the reforms of the autonomous public employment services?
Are you, Jean-Pierre, asking me about the transformation of our national PES, our SEPE, into an agency, or so furthermore in talking about the transformation of each autonomous region?
No, I was just trying to know if when you are making a big reform, or does it have an influence on the own transformation of the regional PES, or are they living their life alone, independently?
Yes, the transformation of the SEPE into an agency is a real opportunity to promote a general transformation of our national employment system. Mm-hmm. It's probably the best occasion that we will have ever. It's the occasion to make visible the right to employment, the right to have an education, the right to have a health care are visible today into structures, into people working on it. But there are not so clear vision in Spain, I think abroad, about what means have a right to be supported to improve your employability. So this is really, really an excellent occasion. And to be more precise, some relevant places are gaining into the regions. For instance, Madrid has a new model of employment offices, which is really working well, where people feel that this attention is possible. So this is an excellent occasion for us, a real challenge, probably one and unique opportunity to launch this image of the employment as a right for people with this transformation of our SEPE, our national PES, into an agency.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Other questions? No? Because our time it's up. If you have no further questions, I suggest
Natalia.
Oui,
okay.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
I'm sorry, just for last second, but just one small question for our colleagues from France. You have changed your name. So how your clients, are they comfortable with the new name of your organization? Do they trust you? Don't they miss the Pôle Emploi? Because for us, Pôle Emploi is something very impressive. So it's your opinion, just please. Thank you very much.
Lydie, do you want to answer the question?
No, vas-y.
Okay. Yes, we have changed our name, but because the law has been discussed a lot of months, last years, I think with the media, a lot of people has know that we were about to change the name, and it makes sense, I think, but even us, sometimes we say Pôle Emploi instead of France Travail, so time will tell. But what we appreciate in this reform is that it aims that for the users, he can go to every different actors of employment, and he will have a high quality of service and a common diagnostic and have the good services that he needs, even if he is young, he's old, is a long time job seekers or a new one. So we hope this reform will work, but it will work with the humans, with the colleagues that have to cooperate more and be user center.
Thank you very much.
Okay. No question. just now, I think it's the time to thank all of our speakers and you, dear participants, and we look forward to seeing you for the next webinar about cooperation with external providers and the provisions of employment services. And this webinar is scheduled for the 28th of May. And so if you are interested in sharing your experience, please, you could contact us. So now,
Bye.
Thank you all. Bon appétit.
Yes. Bye bye, and thank you.
Merci. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup.